They told me to forgive my sister for stealing my fiancé. Instead, I spoke at the wedding and burned it down. Can you imagine the gut-wrenching betrayal? My own sister, the one I trusted, stole my fiancé. And my parents? They told me to just forgive her. They expected me to smile and be happy for them. But at their wedding, when I stood up to give my toast, believe me, I had much more than congratulations on my mind. The mirror showed a woman in a sleek burgundy dress, looking composed, almost elegant. But inside, I was a live wire, shaking with a fury so cold it was almost numb. This should have been my wedding day. My own wedding. Instead, I was getting ready for theirs. My sister, Emily, married my fiancé, Daniel. My parents, they expected me to just stand there, to smile, as if this wasn't the deepest cut, the ultimate humiliation, a betrayal that had carved me hollow. You'll regret it if you don't go, my mother had said just days ago, her voice calm, reasonable, as though she wasn't asking me to endure the most excruciating moment of my life. My father, never one for long conversations, had merely sighed. Family is family, Lena. You need to rise above this. Rise above? They wanted me to give a toast. Fine, I would rise, all right, and I'd give them one they'd never forget. Looking back, I should have seen it. 3 months, 6 months, years ago, maybe. It started subtly, you know? The kind of things you brush off because it's family. Emily, my sister, suddenly always around. Always so interested in Daniel, in our relationship. You're so lucky, Lena, she purred, that sweet, innocent smile plastered on her face. Daniel's amazing. And then the questions. Too many questions. About our future. Our wedding. Our life. At the time, I thought she was just being a good sister. A supportive sister. God, I was so stupid. The first real alarm bell? 6 months before our wedding. Daniel and I were apartment hunting. Curled up on the couch, dreaming about our future. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then practically bolted to the other room to answer. I need to take this, he mumbled. Later that night, the phone lit up again. Emily, thank you for today. I don't know what I'd do without you. My heart hitched. I tried to sound casual. Why is Emily texting you? Daniel barely looked up. Oh, she just needed help with something. No big deal. No big deal. I let it go, because why wouldn't I? She was my sister. But the text didn't stop. Oh, Daniel, my car won't start. Oh, Daniel, can you help me move some furniture? Oh, Daniel, I just really need someone to talk to. Again and again. And the worst part? Daniel always said yes. I should have confronted him. I should have set boundaries. But I was too busy. Too busy planning our wedding. Choosing flowers, invitations, the perfect dress. Too busy trusting them both. Blindly trusting them. Then, just 1 week before my wedding, the whole world shattered. I wanted to surprise Daniel, you know? Bring him breakfast. Remind him how excited I was for forever. Instead, I walked into his apartment and found her, in bed, with him. Emily didn't even look guilty. Not one bit. She just pulled the sheets around her, like she had every right to be there. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, she said, a sickly sweet smirk playing on her lips. Daniel just sat there on the edge of the bed, running a hand through his hair, looking like he wanted the earth to swallow him whole. Lena, I didn't let him finish. I just turned, walked out. I don't even remember getting to my car. Just a hollow, crushing numbness. This was a nightmare. A living, breathing nightmare. But the nightmare wasn't over. My own parents, the people who were supposed to protect me, didn't even take my side. I barely existed for the next few days. Didn't eat, didn't sleep. Everything felt unreal. Then my mom called. Lena, I know you're hurting, she began, that careful, measured tone in her voice. But you have to understand, Emily and Daniel didn't plan for this to happen. They just fell in love. I gripped my phone so tight, I thought it would crack. You're joking, I whispered. You have to be joking. I know it's hard to accept, sweetheart, but I hung up. The next call was my dad. This doesn't change the fact that Emily is your sister, he sighed, all patriarchal authority. Family is family, Lena. You need to rise above this. Rise above? I wanted to scream. Instead, I just laughed. Because, of course they would take her side. Emily, always their favorite. The golden child. The one who could do no wrong. It had been that way our entire lives. When we were kids, if Emily broke something, I got flamed. If Emily wanted a new dress, I got her hand-me-downs. If Emily cried, I was scolded for making her upset. And now, she'd stolen my fiancé. And my parents expected me to be the one to rise above it. I could have just disappeared, you know? Cut them all off. Started over somewhere far away. But no, that would be too easy. They wanted me to come to the wedding? Fine. They wanted me to give a toast? Oh, I would. But it wouldn't be the one they were expecting. Emily had always been the favorite. The one with the golden girl smile, wrapping everyone around her little finger. Teachers, parents, family, friends. Me? I was the quiet one. The responsible one. The one who had to work twice as hard for half the recognition. Come on, Lena, be a good sister. Let Emily have it. Mom's favorite phrase. So I learned early, Emily takes and I give. That's how it had always been. And I thought I'd come to terms with it. Until she took the one thing that was truly mine. Daniel. I met Daniel in college. He was charming, real. Not flashy, not overconfident. Just effortless. For 5 years, I believed in us. I believed he would never betray me. I was wrong. It started small, with Emily bringing him coffee, laughing too hard at his jokes, finding excuses to text him. Oh, Daniel, my car won't start. Oh, Daniel, can you fix my Wi-Fi? At first, I brushed it off. Emily was flirty with everyone. It was just her. But then I started noticing things. Daniel silencing his phone late at night. Emily suddenly so invested in our wedding plans. Lena, what flowers are you picking? Daniel loves lilies. Lena, are you sure about that venue? Daniel prefers something modern. And then the killer. Lena, do you really think Daniel is the one? That last question should have been my blazing red flag. But I was too blind, too trusting, too naive. When I found them that morning, Daniel's apartment smelled like her perfume, not mine. The bedroom door ajar. Her giggle. My stomach dropped to ice. I walked in. Emily Daniel. In bed. She smirked. Oh, I guess you weren't supposed to find out this way. Daniel, pale, stammered. Lena, I just turned and walked out. What else was there to say? The next few days? A haze. No tears. No screams. Just nothingness. Until Mom's call. Lena, sweetheart, you have to understand. Understand what? My blood turned to fire. They're in love, she chirped. I almost dropped the phone. I don't care. I hissed. She's my sister. He was my fiancé. This isn't some fairy tale romance. This is betrayal. Lena, don't be dramatic. You're not the first woman to lose a man. Lose a man? Like he was a misplaced object. Then Dad. Family is family, Lena. You need to rise above this. Rise above the fact that my sister was marrying my fiancé, and then the final audacious betrayal. You are coming to the wedding, right? I hung up, but that wasn't the end. The invitations arrived. My parents begged me to attend. My mother, God help her, actually said, Lena, it would mean so much if you gave a toast. And that was it. That was the moment. I would go, I would give them a toast, and they would never forget it. I wasn't going to just sit back and let them win. I was done being the girl they trampled. It was time to remind them I wasn't disposable. It was time to destroy them. First thing, I locked down my finances. I logged into my banking app, my fingers shaking. My parents had access to a shared savings account for family emergencies. I thought, my first mistake, the transaction history. My blood boiled. $3,000 gone last month, household expenses. A lie. $2,000 the month before. $6,000 just 2 weeks ago, right when Emily was finalizing her wedding venue. They'd been stealing from me. While I was busy planning my life, they were draining my accounts. I removed their access, closed the account, transferred everything into a private fund, and then I went further. My credit report, a loan application for $25,000 in my name, filed 2 weeks ago, signed by my father. I nearly screamed. My own parents, trying to put me in debt to pay for Emily's wedding. I felt physically sick. I called the bank. Hi, I need to place a fraud alert. Someone tried to take out a loan in my name. Within minutes, the application was flagged. Any future attempts denied. My parents' names reported to the bank security team. They thought they could use me. Not anymore. Emily was always careful with her lies, but not careful enough. Ruining her wedding wasn't enough. I needed to ruin her reputation. And for that, I needed evidence. I called in a favor from an old friend, someone who knew how to dig. A week later, a folder full of gold landed in my inbox. Emily's biggest secrets. She was drowning in debt, maxed out 3 credit cards trying to pay for this extravagant wedding, assuming Daniel would cover everything once they were married. What a joke. But it got worse. She'd been sleeping with another man while she was cheating with Daniel, a married man. And then there were the lies she told everyone about me. To our family, our friends. She said I had left Daniel, that I had gotten cold feet, that she and Daniel had gotten together after I'd moved on. She'd rewritten the entire damn narrative. I sat back, staring at my phone. A slow burn of victory spread through my chest. She thought she had won. She had no idea what was coming. I needed that wedding to happen, exactly as planned. If it got canceled before my moment, it would all be for nothing. So I played my part. Of course I'll come, Mom. You're right. Family is family. I just needed time to process. I could practically hear her smug smile through the phone. I knew you'd do the right thing, sweetheart. Right thing? Oh, Mom, you have no idea. For weeks, I played the perfect sister. Let my mother fuss. Nodded along to my dad's lectures on unity. Even feigned interest as Emily gushed about their honeymoon. They thought I'd moved on, forgiven them. But behind my polite smiles, I was preparing for the ultimate reckoning. While my parents were trying to take out loans in my name, Emily was being reckless with her own finances. This wedding was a financial disaster waiting to happen. Designer dresses, extravagant venues, an over-the-top honeymoon. She was betting on Daniel covering it all. What she didn't know was that Daniel wasn't as rich as she thought. His savings were almost gone. Credit card debt piling up, and thanks to my digging, I knew she'd lied to the wedding venue, claiming the full payment was ready, assuming Daniel's new joint account would cover it after the wedding. So I made a little phone call. Hi, I'm calling regarding the upcoming wedding of Emily and Daniel. Has the final payment been made? A pause. No. I chirped. Oh, dear. Well, I just thought you should know. Emily doesn't have the money. And Daniel? He has no idea she expects him to pay for everything. The coordinator went silent. Then, in a clipped voice, we'll be confirming payment immediately. If Emily didn't pay up fast, she wouldn't have a wedding venue at all. And the icing on the cake? A voicemail. Emily's own drunken confession after one too many drinks to a mutual friend. How she never loved Daniel. How she just wanted someone to pay for her dream life. He's the best I can get, she slurred. I had the whole damn thing saved. By the time the wedding day arrived, everything was set in motion. Emily was a wreck, stressed beyond belief, having somehow scraped together enough money for the venue at the last minute. Daniel? He looked nervous. Good. And my parents? Still smug, still convinced I was their perfect, supportive daughter. I walked into that ballroom, dressed in a sleek, blood-red gown. The exact color Emily had told me not to wear because it would steal attention. The ceremony itself was painfully dull, but the reception? That's where the fun began. I sat at the head table, watching Emily bask in the spotlight. She was glowing, her diamond-studded dress sparkling. She thought she'd won. Daniel sat stiffly beside her, smiling too much, his eyes darting towards me more times than he probably realized. And my parents? They looked like the cat that got the cream, as if this was proof they'd been right all along. I let them have their moment. Then the wedding coordinator tapped the mic. And now, a special toast from the bride's sister, Lena. I stood slowly, champagne glass in hand, letting the silence build. Emily beamed. Daniel looked terrified. My mother gave me an approving nod. See, you did the right thing by coming. I gave her my sweetest, deadliest smile. First of all, I began, my voice clear. I just want to say how honored I am to be here today. A few claps. I mean it. I continued, turning slightly towards Emily. My sister has always been an inspiration to me. Since we were kids, she's had this amazing ability to take whatever she wanted. My clothes, my toys, and well, I let the words hang, thick with implication. Uneasy chuckles rippled through the crowd. Emily's smile tightened, her eyes narrowing. And Daniel, I turned to him. Well, I have to say, it's so impressive how quickly you two fell in love. Some might call it fate. More nervous laughter. Daniel shifted, his face paling. But I won't bore you with the details of how these two found each other. I paused, reaching into my small clutch bag. Instead, I'd like to let Emily tell you herself. I pulled out my phone, pressed play, and suddenly, Emily's own drunken, slurring voice filled the glittering ballroom. Asterisk, ugh, Daniel is such a fool. He thinks I actually love him? Please. I just want a man who can pay for my life. Asterisk. The room went dead silent. Emily's eyes were wide, her mouth agape. Asterisk, I mean he's nice enough, but let's be real, I had better options. This is just the best I can do for now. Asterisk, a gasp, a real collective gasp. Emily shot up from her chair, her face a mass of terror. Lena, turn that off. But I wasn't done. Asterisk, Daniel, Lena is better than you, and you know it. Asterisk, more silence. Then chaos. Daniel's face turned ghost white. Emily lunged for my phone, but I sidestepped her easily. What is this? Daniel stammered, his voice raw. Emily spun to him, her expression a twisted panic. Baby, I can explain. Explain? Daniel roared, pushing his chair back so hard it clattered to the floor. You were seeing other guys? I paid for this wedding, and you what? Emily shrieked, turning her fury on me. Lena, you snake. You ruined everything. Oh, sweetie, I said, taking a slow, deliberate sip of my champagne. I just told the truth. You ruined it yourself. My parents stared, aghast. Guests were whispering, pulling out their phones, recording everything. Daniel looked around the room, realization slowly dawning, painting his face with pure horror. Wait, he said, his voice shaky. You told me your family helped pay for this wedding? Oh, this was even better than I expected. I leaned in just a little. She lied. Daniel whipped his head back to Emily. So, who actually paid for all this? Emily's lips parted, but no sound came out. She was cornered, and then the final stroke. The wedding coordinator approached the table, looking grim. Excuse me, she said, mic in hand, her voice firm. We just received word from the venue manager. Your final payment, it bounced. Silence. Crushing, deafening silence. You mean? Daniel swallowed, his eyes wide. We don't actually own this wedding. The coordinator nodded curtly. We need a payment by tonight, Mr. Reynolds, or we'll have to shut everything down. I almost felt bad. Almost. Emily let out a guttural scream of rage. You conniving. Jealous little? All right. I interrupted, placing my glass down with a delicate clink. Let's not ruin a perfectly good evening. Let's toast. I raised my glass to Emily and Daniel, a triumphant smile on my face. May their marriage be as faithful as the way it began. And then I took a long, satisfying sip. Behind me, Emily was screaming my name. Daniel looked like he was about to vomit. Guests were scrambling, fleeing the chaos. And me? I walked out of that ballroom, head held high, because I had won. The fallout? Emily and Daniel never signed a marriage certificate. Daniel demanded every penny back, leaving Emily drowning in debt and completely humiliated. Her reputation? Utterly destroyed. Friends abandoned her. The The whispers spread like wildfire. My parents? They called, absolutely furious. I just blocked them. Didn't say a word. As for me, I packed my bags, bought a one-way ticket, and moved to Paris. Never looked back. Months later, I got one last message. A text from Daniel. I should have chosen you. I just laughed and deleted it because for the first time in my life, I wasn't just surviving. I was thriving. I had truly, truly won.